Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the full moon. It's on December 15th, it's at 23 degrees of Gemini, and at the same time, Jupiter is retrograde in Gemini, and Saturn is going forward in Pisces, and the two of these are going to meet in a square. What does that mean for you? That's what we're going to talk about. So this is a Gemini full moon, and a time of a full moon is a culmination of energies. And so this is a time where you want to be looking back and thinking about the journey you've been doing and what's worked and what hasn't worked. So you're an explorer. I know you're an explorer because you're watching this video. So you are always looking for more information about the world around you and about yourself. And as an explorer, you're always setting out to explore, and that means that sometimes you will take a path that reaches a dead end or comes to the edge of a cliff or makes you go full circle and you end up exactly where you started. And as an explorer, then you stop and you think, and you may pull out your journal and you might say, well, that's not the road to take. And then once you have process this information, then you're ready to go and strike out on a new path. Now, at the same time, in this chart, Jupiter is retrograde in Gemini, so it's moving backward, and Saturn is moving forward in Pisces, and the two of these are going to form an exact square. Now, there are actually some good things that can happen with a square. There can also be some bad things. You see, all aspects are a mix of the energy. So with a square, the energy is that you are forced to take some sort of action. So as an example, this would be that your friend needs a wedding cake and you go to the bakery to pick it up and they've done it entirely wrong. The colors are wrong, they misspelled your friend's name, and they want to charge you anyway. You have no course of action except to fight. And you have to fight to either have them redo the cake or give you a refund or something. And in this fight, you could lose or you could win. And that's the square. That's the energy of the square, that you are forced into some sort of confrontation of which you could win or lose. So this is Jupiter and Saturn in a square. And so Jupiter is this always optimistic, wanting to expand no matter what. Jupiter is like, you want to get to the moon, so you just think, okay, if I put one ladder on top of another ladder on top of another ladder, eventually I'll get to the moon, not thinking whether that is going to be a stable structure or not. Now, Saturn wants to build something that's really solid, so it's going to do this in a very conservative manner, and it's going to consolidate energies. It's going to take the time to plan and, preserve resources and things like that. And so too much Saturn, and then all you're doing is building a foundation, through maybe taking a lot of classes in something or making sure that everything's right on your desk. And that can also stop the progress. So we either have the ladder that's all tippy back and forth, or we have the ladder that never gets built. And so the two of these come together as the biggest opportunity, because now we can combine the two energies. Now, during all of this, Mars is retrograde. And a retrograde Mars means that we need to go back and do something that we had stopped doing in the past. Maybe it's unfinished. Maybe now we have more information or resources or a better idea of how to do it. And now it's time to go back and do that. And so with this combination, it would be very good to go find the things that you want to do. Maybe you want to start a business. Maybe you have a creative project. Maybe there's a relationship that you want to get going again. So this is a time to use that Mars to give yourself the energy to go do those things. And while a lot of this energy is happening right now at the full moon, Mars is going to be retrograde until February 23rd. So you have plenty of time to access the energy to go do these different projects. Of course, if you want help interpreting the aspects that are coming up for you in your chart, I do readings. I've had so many people tell me what a healing experience having a reading is, because the chart tells you so much about who you are, and it reveals so much that you might have been questioning or not understanding, and it also helps you make decisions about the future. So if you're interested, please let me know. I'm looking forward to speaking with you. And if you are interested in Pluto and Aquarius, I have a personalized report that I can send you. This report is a PDF that tells you all of the aspects that you are doing with Pluto in 2025, how they are affecting your chart specifically, and giving you guidance to really take hold of this power. Okay, let's go sign by sign. Okay, Aries, you're doing this full moon and the Jupiter in your area of ideas. And that means that you probably have a ton of ideas and options and different things that you can do. And this is going to make that square with Saturn, which is in your area of fear. And so this is that your ideas may be big and bold, or, it's just even a step out of your comfort zone, but Saturn is saying, this is too far, this is too much. And so you are actually now challenged to combat these fears head on and say, is there really something to be afraid of? Because oftentimes it is stuff from our childhood or stuff from the past that has got us nervous about something, or it's things that maybe the media said that aren't even close to happening in your life. And so this is about taking the Saturn and looking at things quite realistically. And that will help you do some of these amazing ideas that you're going to be having. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, even though the sun's not making an aspect with Mars, Mars is in that house, and it's in Leo, which is ruled by the sun. So you have a hidden aspect. And when I look at this configuration, the thing that comes to mind is that it may be time to look at your philosophy about love, or what are your rules about it? How do you feel like the universe helps or hinders? Are you feeling that things are not in your favor when you go out to meet someone? Because these things can change. You can shift your belief system. You can look at something that you believe that you accepted from someone else and then say, no, that's not really what I believe, and that's not really reality. And so that can help you then move forward, and just move forward so quickly because it's the thing that's been holding you back. Now, when it comes to your existing love relationship, Venus is making an opposition to Mars. In an opposition, it's necessary for you either to battle against something, like you're on opposite sides of an issue, and so therefore you're having a battle about it, or to find some way to have a win-win situation, which of course is the more ideal. And so this would be the two of you coming together where you have been on opposite sides of an issue. And this could be something small, like loading the dishwasher, or something bigger, like how to raise the kids. But you can find a way that both of you get your needs met because it's an opposition. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from Venus, which is now in this area of technology and things that are, innovative and different. And so this is giving you two little hints about money for you in the future, and that is there may be some things that you can automate or at least delegate to technology. And so, and that just starts with you asking, I'm doing this thing. Do I have to do it? Is there something else that can do this for me? The other side is to look at the new directions that things are going in and ask yourself how that could affect your money. If you see new opportunities, then you want to, of course, move towards those. So, but if you're thinking, the way technology is going or the way the world is going is not beneficial, that means that there is going to be some new way you can do what you're doing and make money. So that's something to be considering that you could be looking for. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, even though Venus is not making an aspect with Pluto, they're in the same sign, and Venus is making an opposition with Mars. So you have a lot of good connections here to make more money. Now, some of this is predicated on this idea of doing something that's a little outside your comfort zone. So, and that is, don't take the easy way, but look at something, do the homework, do the thing that maybe you've been putting off and procrastinating on, and that could bring you more money. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be a paycheck, Venus is not making an aspect with Uranus, but Venus is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, and they're both in money houses, so you have a hidden aspect. And because of that, that means that in having some sort of conversation with your supervisor, you can make some good headway on getting more money. So it may come outside this 2-week period. It's the end of the year, so this may be a time that you're having your annual review, or there may be some sort of bonus coming in, but this feels like more that you're planting the seeds for some bigger win later. Okay, Taurus. This full moon and Jupiter are sitting in your house of money, and that means that that you may be going a little loose with your money these days. Maybe you are spending more than usual, or you're just not, paying the usual attention to it. And this can mean that there is more money coming in, for sure, but that can also give you kind of a complacent feeling like, well, it's always going to be like this. And this, of course, is going to get that square from Saturn. And the Saturn is in your area of making plans. So you may be making more money, not paying attention to where it's going, when what you need to do is think about what are your bigger plans? What are the things that you want the money for? If it's to buy a house or start a business or to travel, and then the money's getting nickeled and dimed elsewhere, this is where these two forces are coming to a head, so that you get to think about it and get everything in line with your goals. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Venus is making a lovely sextile to Mercury. And Venus is really elevated in your chart. And so that means you have to get out of the house. You have to be seen. And getting out of the house could be a metaphor for going online and putting your profile there and updating your pictures and things like that. So this is about when you are seen, you are attracting love to you. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Venus is not making an aspect with Pluto, but they are in the same sign. And Venus is making an opposition to Mars. So there's a lot of energy of the two of you coming together to work out something, or to be a united front when you're dealing with something that's external. So this is a really good time to work out some differences that you might have, just recognizing that right now you might be on opposite sides of the aisle about this issue, whatever it is. Could be, just something mundane, like where to park the car, or something really big about, whether we should get a pet. So the idea here is that the two of you can come together when you start to negotiate and compromise. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from Mercury, which is just about to go direct in one of your houses of money. You have multiple ones. And so this energy is about the fact that you have now probably spent a couple of weeks looking over things, readjusting how you are looking at your investments or your business or other sources of money. And now you are getting ready to go forward and, taking all of this that you've learned and then applying it. So that's really good. And if you still need to do some stuff on this, you have about a day. And then you're going to get that moving forward energy, and then you can start to implement your new plans. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, while Mercury is not technically making an aspect with Jupiter right now, they are in mutual reception, and because Mercury is going to go forward, it's going to catch up with that Jupiter and make that opposition. And so because this is an opposition right now, you are, well, it's not right now, but it will be, what you're looking at is what the other person is needing or asking for, and how you can fill that while getting your own needs filled. So this is about, finding some middle ground between you and the person that you are trying to help or serve through your business, or how the investments and your investment manager and your banker are helping you, and what you can do to have a win-win between you. Now, when it comes to money from your career, so that's a paycheck, Mercury is not making an aspect with Neptune, but they are in money houses, and Jupiter's in a money house. So this is a really strong time. Although right at this moment, it may be that, maybe you're on vacation because it's the holidays, or your boss is on vacation. So it may not be quite the right time, but this energy is going to line up for you. And then there's going to be this opportunity coming up after the first of the year where you can really connect with your supervisor and start to negotiate for what you want. Okay, Gemini, this full moon and the Jupiter are in your own sign, and this means that right now you can have confidence and you know a lot, and people are coming to you and asking you for advice, and they're finding you. And this is doing that square to Saturn at the top of your chart, which says that either the career you're in may be limiting your potential because it doesn't have the opportunities you're looking for, it doesn't have the path to success that you want, or that there are some things that are being offered to you, but they're just not to your liking. And so that would be either that you either have to change your mind or you have to change your job. And so it's kind of coming to a head right now of whether this is going to be a fulfilling enough job, or if you're going to feel too constrained by it and that you need to break free of it. So it's also possible that this is a burden that you do want to pick up, because ultimately it changes into something that is potentially great for you, because you then are doing that exercise of lifting the burden and dealing with it. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Venus is making a lovely sextile to Mercury, and Mercury is right in your house of relationships, so this is a really good time to go out and meet someone. And right now, it would say communication is key. That is, go out and talk to people, even people you're not interested in, just to get the practice of talking to people, like go to social occasions, go to parties, go to networking meetings, just for the practice of getting out there and talking to people. And that will help you be seen and help you connect with someone. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Mercury and Jupiter are still in mutual reception. They are a little far to be making an aspect right now. So it's kind of like you guys were working on something before. Maybe you solved some problems. Maybe you found a meeting of the minds, and now you're kind of taking a little breather. Things are calm, and then you're going to get one more opportunity if something wasn't worked out during the retrograde process, that you get one more shot at it, or you get to test to see if you're both committed to that mutual goal or the mutual understanding that you came to during the retrograde time. So right now it's pretty calm between the two of you, so it could be a very enjoyable time. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from the moon, which is now in your own sign. And this means that it's time to look at what your potential really is. It's because oftentimes we're not living up to our potential. We're not living up fully through the talents that we have and the vision that we have. And this can be an opportunity for you now during this full moon to see how far you've come and where you still want to go. And so with that in mind and your money in mind, that's what you could be doing right now. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, the moon's not making an aspect with Saturn. And during these times, it's really good to work on the more infrastructure of the business, or how you do your investments. And this is, with that elevated Saturn, very much about what your reputation is, what your brand is, or who your broker is, or what's your methods of dealing with your investments and the ups and downs that can happen in the market. And so the energy here is very much of creating a stronger structure around what you're doing, and that then can help you really grow when this aspect lines up, which it will in the future. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be a paycheck, the moon's not making an aspect with Mars. It's interesting, though, the energy seems to say that there could be some opportunity that's coming quite soon. It will involve you taking on some more responsibilities, or it may they may be asking you for new ideas or to lead a project or something that says that you would be taking charge. And then this could lead to some opportunities for making more money. Okay, Cancer, this full moon and Jupiter are sitting in your area of spiritual connection, intuition, this ability that you have to connect to the higher forces, the greater universe, and you're doing that square to Saturn, which is in your area of philosophy and limiting beliefs, and this idea that you might be feeling that you have all of this ability, but that the world is small. And so this is where the battle is for you to overcome some of these limiting beliefs, the things that stop you. Maybe they're connected to family history, or maybe it is what you're seeing going on out in the world, to say to yourself that you don't have to follow those rules, that you could do other rules, and you are protected as you do because of your connection to the universe. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, the moon's making an inconjunct to Pluto and it's out of sign. Basically, the person who's coming along, who wants to go out with you, is so different than you were expecting, you may not even recognize that they're asking you out. Or what you're looking for is someone different, and then they're not making that connection. So be patient with this process. If you have an opportunity to go out with someone who's really different than anybody you've dated before, this is a good time to do it. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, the moon's not making an aspect with Saturn, and there's almost a sense here that you're needing a break, that you are retreating and kind of hiding a little bit from maybe some things that you were dealing with your partner, or the other alternative is that they're traveling or you're traveling and you're just separated right now. So this is not anything to worry about. There's just no energy here for working out issues, and it's possible that you do need to retreat for some healings, for some reflection, to think about things and where they're going with this relationship so that a healing can happen. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from the sun, which is sitting in your area of daily habits and routines. And so this is basically just saying, if you're not making the money you want, look at how much time or energy or, like how many calls you're making. Like, look at the actual numbers and statistics and make adjustments in what you do every day to be in alignment with those numbers. And that means that if something kind of works, then you try pushing the gas pedal and see if it really does work, if it just needed more energy. If it only continues to kind of work, then okay, this is not the right road to be on. I've got to change directions. So this is very much about getting out the spreadsheet and looking at what's working and what's not and making some adjustments. And then when it comes to money derived from business or from investments, it's more adjustments. The sun's making an inconjunct with Uranus, which means adjust, means go outside your comfort zone, or not even your comfort zone, your rut that you're in, and do some things differently, and that will stimulate the energy and bring you more business. Now, this is an aspect, so it does say that you can make more money over the next 2 weeks, but you have to utilize that energy of stepping out of the familiar into the unfamiliar. And then when it comes to money derived from career, so that's a paycheck, the sun's making a semi-square to Venus. And that means that one of you, who in this process of asking your boss for a raise, is not really wanting to do it. And that can be that it's you and you don't like to ask for a raise, and so you feel it difficult there. Or it's your boss who's like, I don't want to hear it because I feel stuck. And so coming together to talk about this and really just stating it, if you state, ahead of time, like, I don't really like to have this discussion, but I feel I need to, and then launch into it. Or helping your boss out to say, you may not want to talk about this right now, and I do understand it, but I need to talk about it. And so there is some opportunities here. This is a more challenging aspect, and this aspect will line up better in the future. Okay, Leo, this full moon and Jupiter are lighting up your area of connections with others and resources that you can get from people who you know, who are friends, who are supporters, who are loyal to you. All of these people, and that is making the square to Saturn, which is in your area of resources that are more tangible, like money. And so the clash that you're having is you've got a lot of people who are saying that they're willing to help, but you keep looking for the money. And so you feel like the money's not there, and so you're maybe ignoring the opportunities that are there with when they're, like when the money's not there. Or you have to bring these two together and gather these people and say, hey, let's go find more money. So this is this clash that you're having it's almost like you're saying, like, I really want cake, and they serve you pie and you're so disappointed, but it's still dessert. So this idea is to find a way so that you can take the resources that you have and turn it into the resource that you want. Now, when it comes to relationships, specifically new love, there's no aspect going on between the Sun and Jupiter, but the Sun's in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, so we have a hidden aspect. And that is that the source for you, for love, over this next 2 weeks is your friends. That is, your friends know people, they can fix you up. Your friends could tell you and give you advice about what would be better for your profile, or how you are on a date, or how you're going out to meet people. So you want to really tap into that resource. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, in general, I see that things are okay, but there are some points of issue. And when those happen, because the Sun's making an inconjunct with Uranus, it's like the two of you are from different planets, that you're not really understanding what the other means. And it may be an issue with vocabulary, that you're using the same word, but you have different meanings assigned to that word, or that you're just talking about different things, but you think you're talking about the same thing. And so the energy here would say that if you want to work out something during this 2-week period, stop and think of, maybe my partner doesn't understand what I'm talking about, and maybe I don't understand what they're talking about. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from Mercury, which is just about to go direct. So all of the ideas and plans and all these things that you've been wanting to implement, now you're going to get the chance. And so, but as Mercury moves forward, all the other things you need to do are going to come rushing in. So you need to set aside time for doing those things that are really important, that are going to bring money in the future. So especially those things that are a little bit on the outside your comfort zone, slightly risk-taking area, because those are going to be really the things that move you forward. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, Mercury is not making an aspect with Neptune. Now, it will. It's going to catch up. But right now, it looks like this is more of a time where you are maybe, talking to customers, thinking about investments, but not actually working so actively with them. Or if you're getting the sales, the money comes outside the 2-week period. That's also quite common with this situation. So, because Neptune's in a money house, we know the money's there. So this can also be that it just feels delayed because Mercury has been retrograde. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that's a paycheck, Mercury, because it's been retrograde, is at the closest point of forming that grand trine with Mars and North Node that it's going to be. So this is your opportunity to go in and start that conversation about whether you can have more money. You've got the full moon in this area, so that bodes well. So this may be just the time to say, let's start the conversation. Even if the conversation has to continue later into the next year, at least you got it started, and that's planting the seeds for a big harvest later. Okay, Virgo, you have this full moon and Jupiter right at the top of your chart, which says that you've got the talents and abilities and expertise to do some amazing things. And then Saturn is sitting in your house of relationships, partnerships, and collaboration, and that's where we're getting the square. And that means that you have all this ability, but you're not wanting to connect with the people who could be helpful, or the new people who could be customers or clients. It's that you're thinking that, you know, they're tight with their money now, they're cold, they've turned away. You're thinking that instead of saying, all right, if they're turning away, where do I need to be so now I'm facing them again? You know, so this is about doing that hard thing, and it might involve cold calling, it might involve, you know, going out and teaching when you have a very small audience. These things can grow. So this energy is that your reticence seems to be about connecting with the people, but that's the path to success. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Mercury is not making an aspect with Saturn. It will, but right now it's not. And of course, because now it's just turning direct, it's going super slowly. And it's sitting in your house of home, so it's almost like you're not leaving the house. And so it may mean that you just need to get out there more. Again, this energy is going to line up better in the future. And so if you are doing something at home that you need to do, or you're just resting or healing or something like that, that's perfectly fine because there's no aspect going on. And then when that aspect happens, then you'll be ready to go out and meet the world. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Mercury is not making an aspect with Neptune. It's not making an aspect with Jupiter. But because of the signs they're in, there's hidden aspects all over the place. And so that means that you can work out things almost silently, almost like sending a psychic message to your partner, picking up their little clues and coming together with a sense of love and acceptance, both of them and yourself. And so I think that something powerful is happening beneath the surface, and that the results of that may show up, you know, in the new year, in the coming months, etc. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from Venus, which is sitting in your area of routines and daily life, and it's in Aquarius, and it's really saying that it's time to get to work. Like, there is so many money opportunities for you right now, and you have to change your schedule to shift things around so that you can go do the things that you really want to do that are going to bring you money. So it's that, and it's also looking at whatever systems or processes that you have right now, and if they're not working for you, if they're leaving you too tired or distracted or something like that, then to change them. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, the energy is Venus is making the opposition to Mars. And so when you have an opposition, the two of you can come together, do some sort of compromise to find some common ground. And so when it comes to business, this can mean you're doing more negotiations now. Even if the other person says no, that may just be that, that's like not a hard no. It's a, well, let me think about it. This is overwhelming, and let them step back a little bit so that they can think about it, maybe offer them some other reasons or benefits of buying with you. And in investments, it's similar. Like, it's not about just taking what somebody else is doing, their plan for investing, but looking at your own and finding some sort of middle ground. So when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be a paycheck, Venus is making a sesquiquadrate to the moon. This aspect indicates that yes, you could get more money and you will get more work. So if you are wanting more work and you want more responsibility and you want to take on some new interesting projects or work with a bigger team, then by all means. If you are looking to just get more money for what you have been doing, then you may want to wait for this energy to line up, which it will in the future in a better aspect. Okay, Libra, this full moon and Jupiter are in your area of education and knowledge, and you probably are collecting all this information and you're learning so many things, and you're just like more. And then Saturn is sitting in your area of the actual work, the routines, the systems, the processes, the actual applying the information into a real world scenario. And these are two coming to a head. And so the part of you may just want to learn more and more, and you're just loving it. You love to learn, but this is the time where you actually need to implement some of the things you're doing, and that means, going out into the real world and maybe connecting the people or teaching or, something that is in the real world. So, and not that education's not in the real world, it is. It's just that sometimes a person is so focused on the learning, and it's time to then apply what you've learned. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Venus is not making an aspect with Uranus, but Venus is in Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus. Uranus is in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. This is what we call mutual reception. So the two of these are talking together, but it's kind of secret, like a hidden aspect. And so this is that love can come, but maybe you have to keep it a secret for some reason. Maybe it's something where you both have the secret that you like each other and you haven't told each other. So there's something going on here. There's some sort of connection that's possible, and maybe it's just not the right time yet to bring that secret out into the open. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Venus is making an opposition to Mars, and that means that the two of you are kind of on opposite sides of an issue, and you need to find where you're going to compromise, where you're going to come together. Otherwise, it can be a battle. So the idea is then maybe to kind of switch roles for a second and say, well, if I was thinking like my partner, how would I be seeing this? And then ask them to do the same with you. And in that role switch, then you can find some common ground. But because there is an aspect, you can find the common ground, and that can really help the two of you. Now, it's also possible that it is the two of you on one side going against something that's external. That can also be the case. And so, in that way, you're a united front against something, but still, to make this work, you want to meet in the middle somehow with this opposing force. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from Pluto and Mars, and they are still in that opposition together. It's because Mars is retrograde, you're getting another chance at this opposition. In fact, you're going to have interactions back and forth for several months. So there is so many opportunities. Now, a lot of what we're seeing here is now it may be time to take some of your ideas and kind of workshop those with your friends or the people that you know well, so that you can get some feedback. And so this is something like if you talk to them about the type of investments you're thinking about or the direction you're going to take your business. And it doesn't mean that you have to actually do exactly what they're saying, because these two forces are in opposition. You may go to two people and get completely different ideas, but there may be something between those two ideas that really help. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, Venus and Pluto are not in aspect, but they are in the same sign, and Venus is making an opposition to Mars. So you do have some real good opportunities for making more money in this area, but it does, again, like I've been saying, with an opposition, you have to find the middle ground. So this is a perfect time to work on your negotiating skills and how you connect with people. When it comes to investments, this may be looking at how somebody else invests and how you invest, and seeing if the common ground between you would be a better route to take. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be a paycheck, the Sun is making an out-of-sign semi-sextile with Pluto. So when you sit down and ask for a raise, it may come as a little shock to your supervisor. And, who knows why it is a surprise, but you may need to go in gently and explain to them what you're looking for and give them the time they need to talk to their supervisor or to work out the budget. But there is an aspect here. This aspect's going to line up better in the future, and so you may want to just wait. But in the meantime, there is some opportunity to plant a few seeds here for more money in the future. Okay, Scorpio, this full moon and Jupiter are lighting up your area of resources from others, and this is money and expertise and, the person who's going to guide you through the process and all of that. And all of that energy is making the square to Saturn, which is in your area of risk-taking, where you're not wanting to step outside the comfort zone. You're not wanting to take the risk. And so this this is where these two planets are going to come to a head. So the energy here is suggesting that if you can find some way to battle between the two of these, of how can you use resources from others and take a few chances here, I think that that's going to be your way forward. And these could be chances in love, they could be chances of your creative process, there could be even, just the feeling of the risk of letting your teenager, go on a date, so it's stuff like this, of stuff that's outside of your comfort zone, and yet you do have the resources available, and so this is the perfect time to, take some action. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, there's an out-of-sign sextile between Pluto and Neptune. Pluto is right at the base of your chart now, and this is the place of not just family, but also ancestors and genetic memory. And so the part of this is maybe just realizing that if you come from a long line of people, then they must have had some relationships along the way. So this is pulling from that positive energy of, yes, they found someone, they connected. And so this is like just putting this idea in your head helps you become a magnet to attract someone who is right for you. So just pulling from your ancestors to do something in the future is what I'm seeing here. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Venus is not making an aspect with Pluto, but they are in the same sign, so that's a hidden aspect, and Venus is making an opposition to Mars. And so there is some strong energy here for the two of you having something that you can work out, but right now you're on opposite sides of the aisle, and that means that you've got to talk about what your side is and listen to what their side is so that you can find the middle ground. And there is going to be some middle ground because it's an opposition. So, but if you just stay on your own sides, then it's very difficult to come to some sort of agreement. So with this aspect you can, and this could be something very minor, when to turn the lights on and what temperature the house should be, or something quite major of, should we sell the house? So this is where you want to actually say to your partner, well, what are you thinking on the subject? And then ask them to listen to your side after you listen to theirs. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from Jupiter, which is in your area of resources, which includes expertise. And so this is something, because Jupiter's retrograde, it feels like it's time for you to look at the things that you were going to study about maybe investments or business. Maybe you bought a course, maybe you have, some people that who do business well. This is a time where you could really be learning while Jupiter's retrograde, so that when Jupiter goes direct, then you can just take action. So the focus right now for making more money is to learn the things that you started to learn before, but maybe didn't finish. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, Mercury and Jupiter are not actually in aspect right now, but they're in mutual reception, which is a hidden aspect. And so they are talking to each other. And that means that it may be not so direct, like, like I make a phone call and here comes money. It may be something a little bit more subtle, like you make a couple of phone calls over here and money comes from over there. So, and that's still good because it's still money. Or you make an investment and it goes down, but your other investments go up. And so this could be something along those lines, bringing you some more money. Now, when it comes to money from career, so a paycheck, that Mercury opposed Jupiter, which is not lining up right now, might be your supervisor saying, it's just wait, I'm working on this. You can believe them because this Mercury and Jupiter will line up in the future. Mercury's going to go direct. It's going to take a little bit to get up to speed and catch up with Jupiter, who is moving backward to help out. So I think that outside this 2-week period, the energy is looking quite good. Okay, Sagittarius, this full moon and Jupiter are in your house of connections and relationships and other people and all the people that you could meet and bring into your life. And that Saturn sitting at the base of your chart is there in your area of home and family. And so it could be this energy of that you are only interacting with the people in your family and the people that you know well, rather than going out and meeting all of the amazing people in the world. Or that this is that as you're meeting people, you are still bringing some of that old family patterns to the new relationships when it's a fresh relationship, and so you can do it differently. So this is where these two planets are coming to a head, and as you work these out, as you find the balance between them, then you're going to find that you can connect with great people and have them meet your family and have that connection be good too. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, your house of relationship is lit up, but Jupiter is not making an aspect with Mars, and it's overall, because Mars is retrograde, this is about looking at your beliefs about relationship and how you feel relationships should work. Sometimes I meet people who feel that they should fall in love at first sight, or people who feel that there's just one person out there in the whole world for them and that they have to keep looking. So it's looking at your philosophy about this, and because Mercury is retrograde, examining it to see if some adjustments are needed. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Mercury and Jupiter are in mutual reception, but they're no longer making an aspect. They will in the future, and they have in the past. And so that means that you've been working out a lot of things together, and now you're kind of in a little resting time, like there was wave after wave after wave, and now the tide's gone out, and so now it's a little bit more peaceful. And then there's going to be a future opportunity after Mercury goes direct where the two of you can work out some things again together. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from Saturn, which is at the base of your chart, and it's in a place that's rather emotional. And so sometimes we can get a lot of emotion tied up in money and get angry with money, get frustrated because it's not coming in, and so we don't really want to attract something that we're angry and frustrated with. And so this is to shift that energy to see what that money one is a neutral energy and that it can come to anybody. And the second is that as you shift it, you may find that there were some things that you did that blocked the money, or that you were not in the right place at the right time, but now you know how to be, you didn't have maybe the skills or something like that, and now you have them. So things change. You have built and grown. And so this is maybe to let go of the anger and frustration from the past, and so that you can see money as this neutral energy, and it's much easier to attract that neutral energy. Now, when it comes to money from business or investments, the moon's not making an aspect with Saturn, and the energy here is a little bit split. So the moon does show opportunities and people knocking on your door, but the Saturn seems a little bit isolated, and like I was talking about before, maybe there's some anger or frustration. And so as you clear that, then this energy will line up in the future and it'll be quite positive. But right now it's to more focus on taking the actions that help you clear, but also to make sure that you're still contacting and connecting with potential clients and customers or potential investments, because that's going to line up in the future. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be a paycheck, Venus is making a semi-sextile to Saturn. And so a semi-sextile can bring you some positive results, but they tend to be a little bit small. This energy is going to line up better in the future, but if you are going for more money now, you could get something that's a small raise. You might get a bonus or a gift card or something like that. There may be some perks related to the job that you get, more time working at home, or, more gift cards. But this energy will line up better in the future. Okay, Capricorn, this full moon and Jupiter are in your area of routines and daily life and all of this. And it says you're doing a lot. You are working, and you're doing this and that. And this is making that square to Saturn in your area of ideas. And so what's happening here is you're definitely doing a lot, but you're kind of in the rut of doing what you know versus the new ideas that are coming to you. And maybe the new ideas feel risky, maybe they feel untested. But this is where these two things are battling. So as you're working so much, you're also feeling like I'd rather be doing that over there, but I don't know if it'll work, so I continue to do this, which that's not very effective way of growth. So that's where your battle is. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Venus is making a semi-sextile to Saturn, and this is an aspect. It's not the easiest of aspects, but it's still an aspect. And it's saying that maybe the thing that's holding you back is how to make the introduction. Or like, what's the first thing to say? Or how do you make the small talk on the date? Or even just a small talk when you're meeting someone. So maybe this is a time to go do some research and see what others have done that have worked for just, breaking the ice and starting the conversation. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, the moon's not making an aspect with Saturn. And, there has been a lot of energies going on with the two of you, and now it does look like you're a little bit in a resting phase, like you're kind of healing from the work you've been doing, or you're cruising along because now you've worked out some things and so things are going better. But right now it's kind of like a little holding pattern, and because there's no aspect, you can't really work out the big stuff right now. That's okay, because being in this sort of healing, holding pattern is not a bad thing. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from Saturn as well as Uranus. And the Uranus right now is a little bit more active, and so we'll talk about that. And that is that it's time to look at how you make money and make it a little bit more fun. So to make it more interesting for yourself, to find something that you can connect it to. And that may be, like, that you love to learn, and so you're going to do this new budgeting app, but you get to learn it. You get to learn about money, and maybe it has, different things to help you learn about investing. Or you do some sort of gamification of your savings so that every time you put an extra dollar in the piggy bank, lights go off and you get extra bonus points and things like that. But by thinking of how to make it more enjoyable, a process, that can really lead you to more money. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, the sun's making an inconjunct to Uranus. That would indicate that it's time to get yourself out of any sort of rut or any sort of, you may be in a plan, and that plan may be solid, but it's time to challenge the plan a little bit. And so that could be that you're asking yourself, some of those interesting kind of Tim Ferriss sort of questions, like, what would it be like if I did the opposite of what I'm doing? Or, if I was going to sum up everything into one sentence, one word, one object, what is it, to give yourself better insight into that? So basically this says to ask yourself a few questions about, whether this is the right direction and what other options are there. Like, say, if a friend came to you and said, tell me something that you're not doing that still could work, and then you come up with that idea. Now, when it comes to money from career, so that would be a paycheck, Uranus is making an out-of-sign trine with Pluto. So you're still doing good energy. You're going to be doing it for a while. And that can make you feel like, yeah, I can wait. And sometimes that's correct. I mean, we do have Mars retrograde. Mercury's moving really slow. So this may be something that you want to wait till after the first of the year to tackle, but you are doing good energy for it now. Okay, Aquarius, you are doing this full moon and Jupiter in your area of creativity and new ideas and fun things to do, and it just could expand you so much in this area. And it's doing the square to Saturn in that area of self-worth, feeling unworthy, not wanting to invest maybe time and resources into you, instead just giving them to your kids or to everybody else who comes along. And these two are coming to a head. This is that it's time to get a little bit more balance in how you're taking care of yourself and how you are seeing yourself and the worthiness that you have, so that it's not just all going out to someone else. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Mercury's not making an aspect with Uranus, but the full moon is in that house, so you have some energy, but it feels like, because Uranus is at the base of your chart, that you're just not wanting to get out of the house, that there are events going on, there are social occasions you could do, there are places you could meet people, but you seem to be a little bit set at home. Now, it's probably because Mercury has been retrograde, but Mercury's going to go direct and move forward. And so new opportunities are going to be coming in. And so if you move forward on those, you could connect with someone. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, the Sun's making in conjunct with Uranus. That means that the two of you are trying to work out something, but you're coming from really different perspectives. And so if you want to work something out, you have to realize that you might be using the same terminology but defining it differently. Or you are talking about very different things, or your priorities are different, and that is slowing down how to solve this problem. So now this also can be that you are both doing something really different together. And so you're both little fishes out of water. And so you are trying to, figure out something. This often happens if you're traveling, or if you're taking on a new project together. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from Jupiter as well as Neptune, which is right now the tail end of Pisces. Next year, it's going to go into Aries, and it'll still, jump back into Pisces for a little bit. But while it's still in Pisces, it's to remember that there are some things on a spiritual side that you can do to make yourself more magnetic to the money that you want to attract. And so putting yourself in that harmony of recognizing your value that we talked about earlier, your personal value, but also that money is a neutral energy. And so it's going to go wherever the call is, unless that call is blocked. And so that is for you to take the steps, through meditation, or you can do, affirmations, but also it's really important to do the inner work. That's what Neptune's really great at, so that you can let go of the hesitations and the issues so that money can come to you. Now, when it comes to money from business or from investments, Mercury's not making an aspect with Neptune. Mercury has been retrograde, of course, all this time, and so now it's going to move forward, and it will line up with Neptune in the future. And so you are going to have some opportunities to have increased income in these areas. In the meantime, this is talking about networking and getting back out there and connecting with people or your clients or your base. And that's what's going to bring money in the future. And then when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be a paycheck, you have a lot of activity going on in those houses, but no real direct connections going on right now. I mean, there is that Jupiter co-rules Pisces and Neptune's in Pisces, so we have like a hidden aspect, but it's not a super strong one. And so this is that the energy is there, but I think because Mercury's in that house, and Mercury just went direct, and it's going to move very, very slowly forward, that you're probably looking at either the very end of this 2-week period of the possibilities of getting more money, or you have to wait till outside the 2-week period. Okay, Pisces, you're doing this full moon and Jupiter lighting up the base of your chart, which is about, home and family and the support you can get there, the support from ancestors, the support that you feel because of the foundation that you stand on, which is all the things that the skills and abilities that you have, all of what you have collected and accumulated over the years. And these are making a square to Saturn in your own sign, in that area of confidence, in that area of saying, I'm worthy and I can do this, and, you know, get out of my way, world, I'm charging forward. This is the part of you that you're holding back. And or it's the, oh, if I do this bigger thing, it's more responsibility, it's so much work, I don't know if I want to do it. So that's where the conflict is happening, is like, here you are with all of these skills and abilities and support from, you know, your line of ancestors, and yet you're feeling like not confident enough to go and take the reins. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, the moon's making a nice square to Neptune, and so this is really good opportunity to meet someone new, but the moon's down at the base of your chart, and so it's kind of hidden at home. And so if you find that you're not getting out, this is a time to see if there's some sort of opportunity to socialize, to connect with new people, to let one of your friends introduce you to someone new, because the energy's there. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Mercury is not making an aspect with Neptune. There's some mutual reception energy going on with Jupiter at the base of your chart. But the overall energy is that you've been working on stuff and you probably came to some resolutions and the relationship has grown a bit, but now you're a little bit in a resting pattern while Mercury changes directions. So there could be just this peaceful time, or if it has been difficult and you're just making a bit of progress, then it's kind of like a little bit of a ceasefire between the two of you, because the energy is not there right now to work something out. Just put things aside, and then when this lines up in the near future, then you can work and grow together again. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from Mars, which is now retrograde and going to be briefly in your house of processes and systems and all of that. And so this is a time to look at your systems and your routines and your schedule and say, should I change this? Do I need to do something different about this? This energy will shift when it's going to go into a new area for you, and we'll talk about that next time. But right now, this is very much focused on looking at how you get things done and saying, is this the best way? Is there some sort of piece of technology now that could do something for you and save you some time? That sort of thing. Now, when it comes to money from business or investments, Mars is making an opposition to Venus. So you have some place where you can come together on negotiating things. It's really interesting because it looks like the people you're negotiating with really want to know the benefits they're going to receive. They don't necessarily need to know the features or what this can do. They want to know what it will do for them. And vice versa. You want to know, if you're going to work with them, what you're going to get, how it's personally going to benefit you. So those sort of things, when you lay them on the table, are really going to help with your negotiations. And, you know, it's similar when you're working with your investment manager or your accountant, anybody who is handling your finances. Now, when it comes to money from career, so that would be a paycheck, Mars is not making an aspect with Saturn, Mars is retrograde. So this is probably not the best time where you're going to really get something going, unless you had already started those talks before Mars went retrograde. So if you've been talking about getting a raise for several weeks or months, then this is the perfect time to sit down and get the conversation going again. And then when Mars and Saturn do line up, then boom, you'll get it. But right now, this is the energy is, if it hasn't been started, it's just time to work on other things. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. By the way, if you haven't signed up for my newsletter, it has the different aspects that we're doing each week, and so you may want to check that out. And I will see you in the next video.